Thank you so much for everybody coming out tonight. As you know, this is a celebration of not only art, but a celebration of life. And that is the life of our very good friend, Guttorn, Otto. And he passed away 1 year ago tomorrow. And he's not here with us physically, but certainly has left behind an incredible collection of artwork. And last October we had the most incredible experience of cataloging just over 2,000 paintings that he left behind. And what you're seeing here tonight are about 60 of those paintings. So the experience was just absolutely awesome. We viewed paintings from the early 50s right until 2011. And there's a really nice overview here tonight. And tonight we have Otto with us and Hildy Battista with us, son and daughter, of course, of Guttorn. And I think they have some really awesome stories to share. I have a few of my own, but not, I'm sure, anywhere near what you have to share with us.
We'll see.
Oh, okay. So, Herb.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. And I just wanted to say, initially, I'm amazed at how many Kawagama Lake folks there are here tonight. I keep bumping into you, you know, and it really takes me back because Kawagama Lake was really our first Canadian northern experience, and you know, the property my dad bought in the mid-50s there, and we used to go up there and spend all summer as kids on the lake, and then went back to school wondering what running water was like. So it was really a fantastic experience, and this brings back a lot of memories with you folks here and your stories too. And some of those stories, there's some good Kawagama Lake ones. The one that I remember most poignantly, as does my cousin and as does Hildy, my cousin used to come and visit us every summer, and the rule was in the morning when you got up, my dad was a bit of a disciplinarian. He'd gone through the war, you know, he was a soldier, and he said, you know, to do things, to learn the lessons of life, you have to do certain things. And one of them was, as soon as you get up in the morning, before you eat, before you do anything else, you go down to the lake and you jump in the water. And it didn't matter whether it was early spring or late fall, you had to go in. And, you know, we were kids, like, I don't know, we were 8 years old, 9 years old or something. We thought this was nuts. And so, anyway, we had to do it anyway. And the whole theory was that when you come out of the water, you feel like a young god. I never felt that. But obviously he did. And anyway, this went on for a number of years, and anyway, it was kind of an interesting lesson, but it gives you a little insight as to kind of what kind of person my dad was. The other thing that he liked to do is he was always thinking of teaching us something, some value in life or something to do. The other thing he did was Sunday mornings at home were always a special occasion. Sunday mornings he would put on some Bach, usually, and he'd set up some flower arrangement or pots or a fruit or something, and we had to paint every Sunday morning. And he would paint too, of course, and he would see what we would do, and then he would give us a little crit afterwards. And this would happen every Sunday, and it was painful. And you know, you're a child, right? You know, you're thinking, you know, why do I have to do this? You know, it's I want to do something else. But it was a very good lesson, and some of that stuck, and to this day I can actually paint. And so I'm very happy he ended up doing that for us. So that was a very good lesson.
And taught you very well.
Well, yeah, it's sort of interesting because now that I'm retired, and I am actually starting to paint more, and yeah, some of that's really paying off, yeah. And it's really good. And so we'll see if I can give him a little competition.
The next exhibit.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. A few years back, he came to my house and he looked at the paintings on the wall. Oh yeah, I remember that one. And he was looking at one of mine. And he says, "Is that mine or yours?" And I thought, that's it. So anyway, that was really good. And one other experience I'll tell you about Hildy to speak. He always liked the challenge, and he usually liked the physical kind of challenge. And you'll see in his portfolio and his paintings and a lot of paintings of Scarborough Bluffs. And those in the very early days when we first came to Canada, we used to like to go there quite regularly, and because it's a beautiful place. And but what he liked to do is he'd like to walk out on those little narrow ridges that go out to the end of where all the dirt and the clay falls off into the water down to Lake Ontario, you know, a distance of, I don't know, 150 feet or what. And so he's balancing his way out there. My mother is going crazy. Think of the children, you know, think of the children. No, this has to be done. And so he liked those kind of physical challenges, and he always hoped that I would follow in his footsteps, but I never did. I like safe ground. So. Anyway, so he kind of taught me the reverse. Anyway.
Well, you did move to an island.
Yeah, I do, and I live on the edge of a cliff. It's 150 feet high, so maybe I kind of got there. Oh. Anyway, so Hildy, you have some thoughts of your own.
I have a few little blurbs. I have to go by my notes, but there's many memories, many stories, so many that keep coming in our minds. At the time we were 6 and 8 years old, we lived at Castleview Avenue near Castle Loma, and Father found work with painting the Sunny Seal trucks, and it was a night job, so he would walk down the stairs and just below Castle Loma he would paint all night, balanced on these high ladders, painting the Sunny Seal letters. And then, of course, coming home, he had to sleep during the day. And whenever he had found time, he would, of course, paint and then build up enough paintings to exhibit at Eaton's at College Street. So that was years ago when we were younger. Anyway, Mother studied and became a teacher, and our grandparents, the Franske grandparents, came and babysat us, so that, of course, Mother could do her studying and learn, and Father. It was a busy time, and we would have at Castleview our relatives who came from Germany. We would have them come over, the Franskes and the Kohlers, and stay with us at that time. So it was a time of growth and development for all our family, and I remember it fondly. It was very nice. The other little story was we moved to Ballantrae in 1959, and there were, of course, many inspiring scenes like the Vivian Forest, and so that was up 9th Line or up the 48 highway. And Mother would plant her poppies and beautiful flowers, and that was subject matter for Mother, for Father to paint the flowers that she planted. And even to this day, they come through the weeds in the field, and you remember these times fondly. And now, when Dad was about 48 years old, he had serious back trouble. And knowing him, he was trying to overcome it himself, and he was crawling around in the field, and he was crawling in the house, couldn't walk anymore. And finally, Mother helped build a contraption so that when he lay in the field or lay in his bed, he had this contraption above himself so that he could continue painting, of course. So he managed, he overcame this, and finally he accepted spinal fusion. That was the tail end of all that story. So then finally he could walk again.
Hildy, I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
The poppies piece that's here, I heard, and I don't know who told the story, but somebody said that your mother put them in a wheelbarrow and rolled them out to the fields.
Quite likely. I wouldn't doubt
Because
it.
he wanted to paint, and somebody said the perspective was very interesting in that painting. I said, I think it's because he was painting it in a wheelbarrow.
I think
probably.
that's true.
Story, yeah.
I think that's true. And Mother was a strong woman.
Yeah, but
And so she put a wheelbarrow out there. She was strong enough to do it.
He's a true painter.
Yeah,
True
he
painter.
was,
His craft.
He never gave up. And,
Never.
now another thing, when Dad painted, the best critic, so that Dad would improve his paintings, was actually my mother. She would critique his paintings, and sometimes he was, very hurt, and other times he was overwhelmed with joy if she said it was actually good. So that is when he improved, when my mother was his critic, and he really improved at that time. Now, a little story about a visit. My husband Lino and I visited, and it was a good visit. And the time was going on to be supper time, and we were hungry. We hinted that we were hungry, and Dad said, well, I really haven't gone shopping, there's nothing in the fridge. And this was quite normal anyway, but so Dad said, don't worry, come with me into the field. I have an idea. So we walked to the end of the field, and there by the pines was an enormous puffball. So we picked it and brought it back and cleaned it up and put it in the frying pan with butter, and that was supper. That was it. But we were all filled up and quite happy, and he just made do with whatever situation came his way, and it seemed to work somehow.
So we learned over the years that if you wanted to have something to eat when you visited, you better bring it with you.